Hey everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Scott, this show should almost be called This Afternoon in Sports Betting because we have an early Monday night game. It's Monday afternoon football as the Kansas City Chiefs prepare to take on the Buffalo Bills, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Are you excited there? You get a little doubleheader action starting in the afternoon.
Well, I'm excited since both the games actually look entertaining. I know Monday night's usually a crapshoot when it comes to how many games are good, and let's see how many times we can put the Bengals on TV before somebody notices. But yeah, the games itself should be entertaining. I know that we have thoughts on the total, but they should be pretty, at least based on the totals, they seem to be pretty high scoring. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I think that the games itself feature four potential playoff teams. I know Buffalo is probably going to make the playoffs. Kansas City, of course, going to make the playoffs. Arizona, and Dallas right now technically is a playoff team, even though they aren't very good. So overall, the matchups are pretty good. Definitely should be a lot better than having only two games in the 4 o'clock slate on the NFL on Sunday. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why you only have two games and you have the Jets of all teams playing at 4 o'clock, which means that you're forced to showcase Adam Gase play calls. I don't know why that's a thing. You have any ideas? Why do you have 9 games at 2 o'clock and two games at 4?
I don't understand it. I honestly, I mean, yeah, I don't get it.
It's been an issue for years.
And one of the late games is from Tampa in the Eastern Time Zone. So, that was bizarre in and of itself. I mean, I guess they wanted that Brady game. That
No, I
Brady,
understand why that game was.
Rodgers game there.
Yeah, I understand why that game was at 4. Why did you decide? First of all, the 9-2 breakdown makes no sense. No, nobody cares. Just put some of the games at 4. Like, it's not a big deal. You could have 5. You could have maybe 6 games at 1. Try to break it evenly, something like that. I don't think anyone would complain because you already have a decent amount of games at 1 o'clock, and most of the time, you're not really following any of the games anyway. The local teams are going to have their games on television anyway. It's not like it matters if they're playing in the early afternoon or the late afternoon. And other than that, most people are watching Red Zone anyway, and you have 9 games and nobody's really watching anything. At some point, it's kind of like college football where as much as I love the options available, and of course you have hundreds and hundreds of teams, when you have so many games on, you're not going to be paying attention to like half the games. You're going to be too distracted anyway because you're just going to be content overload. And I feel like the NFL decided, 1 o'clock we should overload it, because it's start of football. And I'm like, yeah, but you realize at 4 o'clock you have 2 games. Both games are decided by 20-plus points, and you have the Dolphins and Jets on that nobody's going to be watching. Like, I don't get it.
There was some bad football yesterday.
There was some really bad football, but even just talk about East Coast matchups. Like, they really thought that the Dolphins Jets should have been on at 4 o'clock instead of Steelers Browns.
Yeah.
Even though that game turned out to be terrible, also, why are the Jets playing at 4 o'clock?
Why? I don't
In
know.
Miami? I don't get it.
Yeah, they had 2 games from the Eastern Time Zone in the 4 o'clock slot.
Now, I know that usually you have a couple of Los Angeles games. The Rams played Sunday night. The Chargers had a bye, so you were a little bit – and the Raiders also had a bye. So you didn't really have many West Coast options there, which definitely
and two of the West Coast teams were playing each other. The other
Arizona also.
Seattle was off.
Yeah, but I don't – hell, you could have even put Carolina-Chicago in the 4 o'clock game, and it would have made more sense.
That's Ravens Eagles maybe. I don't know.
Ravens Eagles could have been 4 all. I mean, that was also East Coast. That's why I'm thinking Chicago. You can make an argument it's more
right.
I guess different time zone, so maybe, but I don't know.
That was Central Time Zone. I don't know.
It's more of a quantity thing for me, not to mention the time zone. Just to move some more games to 4 o'clock because their 4 o'clock slate, which is always 3 or 4 games, are usually terrible, and the 1 o'clock games are clearly the peak. Because you have significantly more games at 1 than 4. Just break it evenly. It's really not that big of a deal.
I agree. Hey, let's talk about some good news. And I know we haven't got to talk about it on the show yet, but you had a pretty good hit on Friday night.
I did, which was kind of weird because the plays of the day for the weekend were not very good, if I'm being honest. But I had a personal solid hit there for a max bet on Fox Bet, which worked out.
And tell us real briefly about your little prop action that you had going on.
So Fox Bet has a ton of bet boosts. If you're not on Fox Bet, I know that some people don't have access to it because it's in like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, stuff like that. And for that, I understand. But if you are in any of those areas that have Fox Bet, you got to get yourself a book. And the main reason why is because of the fact that they have a bunch of bet boosts that you can parlay, which are absolutely either mispriced or I don't know, they just possess tons of value. And over the weekend, which I showed you before the parlay even happened, because I even mentioned it on air. I had a 2-pick parlay. It was at $100 max, and it was SMU to throw for 400 plus passing yards against Tulane. That was at 9-1. You thought it was going to be at like plus 150 or plus 200 or something.
Right.
And also at BYU and Houston 2+ passing touchdowns each at plus 300. I had $100 on it on the 2-pick, which paid out to plus 3,900. And I won, so I made $3,900.
It's good hit indeed, my friend.
It was a sweat-free win, which you don't really get that often in this industry. So
40-1, yeah, you don't get a lot of sweat-free 40-1 payoffs.
Yeah, it was 40-1, and I cashed in the third quarter when BYU threw that little screen pass touchdown. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, 9-1 to throw for.
SMU one made no sense.
What did they think? What did they think they were going to do?
Tulane has one of the worst pass defenses of the entire nation. They just gave it to me. Day prior, I had the Arkansas State 3+ passing touchdowns, Georgia State 3+ rushing touchdowns at plus 700. I cashed that one. It was a good weekend overall for Fox Bet, at least for me on Fox Bet. So I can't complain about that. As for the plays of the day, didn't really go too well. I had a boxing play there. I had a Lomachenko decision that lost. He lost by decision. I had a UFC parlay that lost. First UFC losing card I've had in 2 months. So that's kind of unfortunate. Other than that, though, I had the NFL. I lost a parlay yesterday with the Patriots and Ravens, but I did win with A&M and the Colts money line. So it wasn't all terrible, but it wasn't very good, and I acknowledge that.
So good news, America. The picks that Scott's given to you, well, they're terrible. But
that's why I wasn't going to bring it up, because, yeah, I had a good weekend by myself. I don't think anyone cares about that. So I acknowledge that, but we'll hopefully bounce back with a Monday Night Football winner.
Yeah, how about a doubleheader winner? All right, let's talk about this Chiefs-Bills game, Scott. This is a Bills team coming in on a semi short week. It's about like playing a Monday night game and then playing on Sunday. They played on Tuesday, now they're playing on Monday. The Chiefs, however, have had an extra day's rest as they played on Sunday and now get a Monday night game. Two teams in revenge spots. Both of them looked terrible last time out. Both of them were thought to be among the elite teams in the NFL, and both of them proved to be anything but that, as the Chiefs got hammered by the Oakland Raiders, and the Bills got hammered by the Tennessee Titans.
I think that one's more excusable, but yeah. Tennessee is really, really good.
What's that?
Tennessee is really good.
Derrick Henry seems to be churning it up there.
I was against him in fantasy, so there went my week.
Oof.
I was winning, and then Derrick Henry has a 94-yard touchdown run. I'm like, all right, the game's over.
That's a 15-pointer right there. That sucks.
Yep, not fun. He went for about 39, I think.
I don't know. 220 total or 220?
Something. Yeah, like 250 total with receiving yards. It was pretty ugly.
Not good at all. So, a lot has been made about Andy Reid with the extra day of prep time, and in all honesty, it's a Kansas City Chiefs team that usually performs well under pressure. And make no mistake, with just one team getting a bye this year in the playoffs, the Chiefs realize that there's pressure in this game already. It's not, obviously not a must-win for their season, but it is certainly a.
Well, it's important to get back on track because you don't want the losses to kind of, build up, so to speak.
Well, yeah, that's true. That in losing definitely becomes a habit, and it's going to be 2 in a row. It's going to be 2 losses in a row for one of these two teams. The line on this one, Scott, has definitely shifted and favored the Chiefs. This has been sitting at 4.5 most of the time. When we get up this morning, it is now 5.5 as money is hammering the Chiefs. The total has come down from 56.5 to 55.5. I do have a premium play on the total, but I'm anxious to talk about the side here. Chiefs without Sammy Watkins, how much of a difference does that make for you?
I think that Sammy Watkins is a good possession receiver. I think that he's, I don't know. I kind of want to say he's average. I mean, you watch the Chiefs more than I do, so you can talk about how important he is. I don't really care that much, if I'm being honest. No offense to Sammy Watkins and everybody, but I don't know. I watch him. I think he's fine. I think he'd be important because he would potentially be guarded by Tre'Davious White, so he would be able to take away from coverage on other guys, which I think is important. But for the most part, I think he's fine. I don't think he's like an amazing receiver or anything like that. But you can talk about it. You know more about this than I do.
No, and you hit on it. He is a good possession receiver. He's a guy that you count on that runs exact routes, and that's kind of where his strength is being in the right place at the right time. Demarcus Robinson is going to get the majority of his snaps.
He's okay. I mean, he doesn't have the surest hands in the world, which is a bit concerning, but he's fine.
Although, Kelsey dropped 2 big passes last time out as well. So
yes,
it happens. People get the drops. But, yeah, that is kind of more of a trademark with Demarcus Robinson, and the reason, frankly, he's not involved in the offense more.
How big of a role do you think Hardman has now?
That's going to be a good question because there was rumblings around Kansas City that this kid's been a bust. And
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually like Hardman.
Yeah, I do too. He's certainly got the speed, but he hasn't taken that next step up as far as becoming a more competent and dependable receiver in his second year. So
that's fair.
Like I said, that's kind of the water cooler talk here in KC. I think tonight we'll find out a lot about that. I wouldn't be surprised if he is a integral part of this offense stepping up for Sammy Watkins because he can do things that Sammy can't do.
He can burn pretty much any cornerback that's guarding him.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost any team in the NFL, he'd be the fastest receiver. And of course, he's not on this one with Tyreek Hill. So Buffalo better get ready to run. That's all I'm saying as far as their secondary go. And speaking of running, this is a Chiefs team that just doesn't run the ball well at all. They've got
they might in future weeks when Le'Veon shows up, but he's not going to be there this week.
I don't understand the excitement about Le'Veon Bell.
It provides a goal line presence, which I think is important.
Terrific.
That's kind of all I view from it. Do I think Le'Veon is a good running back at this stage in his career? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's also something he can stay healthy the rest of the year, which is no guarantee.
He showed absolutely nothing with the Jets. Just absolutely nothing.
That offensive line was awful too, but yeah, I definitely didn't notice much. Le'Veon, though, that he's a big body who should be used on the goal line, so maybe that provides a little bit of another dimension. But based on the grand scheme of the offense, it's still based on Mahomes and the receivers. It's not like that really matters.
No, it really doesn't. I'm leaning towards Kansas City here, laying the 5.5. Honestly, those are anytime you're 3.5 to 5.5, those are all dead numbers.
Yeah, so I know that the Chiefs are awful against the run. Is Buffalo actually good at running the ball? Because they have a bunch of running backs who I think are and it seems like they can't really do anything. Because I know Devin Singletary has had a bit of a down year. They're getting Zach Moss back, who hasn't played since, I don't even remember, week 1? He hasn't played for a while with a toe injury. He's fine, but he's more of a change of pace guy. And TJ Yeldon, of course, is just a pass-catching third down guy. So do they really have a running back that they can rely on to pick up? I don't know if they do. But Kansas City's so bad against the run, it might not matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. It may not matter. Singletary, he is having a down season, and they didn't utilize him a lot the first couple of years.
I think he deserves more touches, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. I like that kid. He averages when you feed the ball regular, he's a guy that can average 4.5, 5 yards a carry. He's
good. And they're just like, no, we're going to give Zach Moss and these guys. I'm like, you really Singletary's actually – I know they want to air it out with Allen more, but every now and then you need some balance. And especially against Kansas City, who – they were also bad against the pass against Derek Carr and everybody. But still, what do you think of Josh Allen? Because I thought that he was good, but I was not ready to admit that he was, going to be a top-tier guy or, whatever. Then I kind of came around to it. And then the first week came around to it, he was awful against the Titans, and I'm like, that's why I was never a big fan of you. I don't know, because he has a great arm. I actually like the offense that McDermott has set up in Buffalo. But Allen's decision-making is so bad that I can't really describe it. He makes like 2 or 3 plays every game where he either takes a sack for like a 20-yard loss or he throws a pass into triple coverage. He does it every game.
Well, the thing about this game is the Chiefs have not been able to generate much in the way of pass rush all season long.
They need Clark to step up and to generate some pressure.
They need Clark and they need Jones to step up. Jones played well early. Clark really hasn't played well all season.
He has not been good.
They've got some guys. Passing on T-Pass is kind of taken the next step, but they really need some help. Now, this is a Kansas City unit that is going to be healthy on defense for really just about the first time of the season. They don't really have, other than the fact they're missing L'Jarius Sneed there at their cornerback position, a rookie who is kind of
he's good. Sneed, yeah. He's good.
Yeah.
So I think Breeland's been a bit underwhelming this season, but
Breeland was out until last week.
No, I know. I'm saying he came back. He's looked a little bit rusty. Maybe it'll look better with more reps, but I didn't think he looked that good.
Nobody had a good year. Nobody had a good game against those.
With the Raiders, yeah. Nobody looked good.
They caught him. They caught him in bad looks. They figured out how to split the seam in the middle.
And Ruggs was just faster than everyone else.
Well, they roll to that cover too, and they split it up. And
I do think it's a big deal that John Brown is not going to be playing in this game. Right? I think it's going to be a big deal because of the fact that Brown didn't play last week, but Brown does possess some speed, can potentially, take the top off the defense kind of thing. And
no, is he officially out?
I was under the impression that he was not going to play, but is he? There is a chance that he would. I kind of assumed that if he did, he wouldn't be at 100%, so I don't think he's going to be that effective. But it's possible he's going to play. I kind of just figured that with him being injured for the last couple of weeks or so, that his knee would cause him to be at less than 100%, so to speak.
I'm just looking here. It looks like
it says he's questionable. He practiced in full on Friday, so he might be able to suit up. But
anytime you see that full practice on Friday, I assume they're going.
Yeah, it's a matter of I just don't think he's going to be as effective as Buffalo will need him to be against Kansas City, especially since Kansas City's offense should have a field day against the Buffalo defense. So, yeah. I think the issue that I have with Buffalo is I don't know what they do better than Kansas City. Both defenses are not good. Buffalo's giving up over 28 points per game. I know Tre'Davious White should be back, and Milano should be back, which is also a big boost. But Defense has not been good. They generate pretty much no pass rush at all. And Kansas City has the better quarterback, the better receiving core. Yeah. What does Buffalo do better than Kansas City?
Stop the run.
Okay. They're decent against the run, but I don't think Kansas City runs the ball that much anyway.
That's really about it. They'd like to.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm going with Kansas City because when in doubt, I trust Mahomes more than Josh Allen. I think that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah, that's and the other thing about Buffalo is they're
also on a short week, which I think matters. So
I agree, and they do try to compensate for their lack of pass rush by blitz, and they blitz the second most of any team in the NFL.
That's not fun against Mahomes.
It is not. Pat Mahomes is a passer rating, by the way, of 116.5 when facing 5 or more pass rushers.
You're gonna blitz some people, leave these fast receivers in 1-on-1 coverage on the outside. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs absolutely take care of business here.
How good do you think Buffalo actually is? I really don't know. I think that they're the best team in the AFC East right now.
Yeah, I think they're good enough to win the East.
I'm just saying, but people are expecting to take this a leap, and I just don't see it because this defense has regressed so much.
No, and that's the thing about the Chiefs. One of the reasons for their big run, where they had rolled off,
their defense woke up.
The defense woke up after the Tennessee game. The defense was elite. Was one of the best units in the NFL, and that's kind of what gave them the opportunity to have the success that they did. Otherwise, they're a team that's always in danger of giving up 40 points to some hack like Derek Carr. So, having said that, I expect the defense to be ready. I expect the offense to really be ready. I think Andy, with an extra day, realizing the importance. This is a team that's played big games before, and make no mistake, this is a big game.
I'm going to lean to the over also, which is a no-brainer for me. I know the total's high, but both these defenses leave a lot to be desired. Both offenses, Kansas City's offense is great. Buffalo's offense, though, despite being bad last week, still very solid unit overall. I think Kansas City could score 35 or potentially 30-plus. I think Buffalo should end up scoring a decent amount of points as well. So I think this game should be a track meet. I do think that Kansas City should have some big play touchdowns here or there. Buffalo can do the same. But right now you're looking at a total that is pretty high in today's NFL at 55.5. I think Kansas City's probably going to score 35. So I think this game should finish 35-27, give or take.
It came down a point from 56.5 to 55.5. Does that bother you?
No. I'm looking at the offense in the matchup, and I don't trust either defense. So I expect a lot of points.
All right, very good. I'm on the Chiefs -5.5. I do have a premium play on the total here, but give me my hometown boys minus the points.
Yeah, I'm winning Kansas City also.
All right, very good. Next up, Scott, in our actual Monday night game, we've got a battle there in the old NFC East, which was always a weird thing to see the Cardinals playing in the East, but they're now, of course, in the West where they belong, and the Cowboys are trying to be the fastest runner in the Special Olympics there and win the NFC East. Cowboys are now a 1-point favorite. That's been a 2-point switch from yesterday, Scott, where the Cardinals have pretty much held steady as the favorite all week long. Two teams that I don't know. Is this an NFC conference? Is this an NFC championship preview, Scott?
That's not the way I would phrase it, but I think that both teams have a shot at potentially making the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Talk about the playoffs? Dallas just hopes they can win a game.
Although after yesterday, I don't know who wins in the West. My goodness, that is suddenly wide. I thought that was the best division in football, and now
the West still is the best division in football. Actually, no, it could be the North for the AFC. That AFC North is very good.
Yeah, even the
Browns. I like their team. Mayfield's not the answer, but it is what it is there. But Pittsburgh's undefeated. Baltimore's very good. I mean, those are two, I'd say, top 7 teams in the league, top 6 teams in the league.
Yep.
And Cleveland is definitely above average. Cincinnati stinks, so that's a given. So that's probably why it's still leaning to the West, because all 4 of those teams actually have a playoff shot. Where the Bengals are so bad, they kind of just take the overall ceiling down for the entire division. But I still think it's the best division in the entire league, because what I'm going to criticize the Rams for losing to the Super Bowl runner-ups last year. Like I can't really blame. I know they're missing a lot of players from last year, but Garoppolo played well. Team was very good, and I think the Rams are good, but I still don't think Jared Goff's that great. So it kind of balances out. But the Cardinals, in my opinion, are the worst team in the division, and the Cardinals are still pretty good. That's how I would break down the NFC West. I think the Cardinals are the worst team, but I think you'll agree they are, in worst case, an average football team.
They're the best worst team in any division. How about that?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, very good.
You agree with that?
I do. I do.
I think that they're a fine team. Do I think that they're going to make the playoffs? Probably not.
Where would Dallas finish in the NFC West?
Wait, what?
Where would Dallas finish in the NFC West?
They're going to finish last. They can't stop anybody. I think if the Cowboys were in the NFC West, they would finish, I don't know, 5-11.
5-11. That's exactly the number I had in mind.
That's what I would. I don't know how many division games you'd have where you'd actually win, but they're in the NFC East. Are they the best team in the East? I don't know, because the Eagles, even though they lost the last 2 weeks, they hung very tough against the Steelers and a Ravens team that are both really good. And the Cowboys, they got blown up by the Browns. Like, their one win's a miracle win against Atlanta. This isn't very good. I know that Dak's injured now and Dalton's in, and that's going to probably lead to a little bit of a downgrade offensively. I do think the Cowboys should run the ball more. I think they're going to try to conserve the clock, try to make Dalton's life a little bit easier in the play-action game. The one main thing you have to keep in mind is the Cowboys' offensive line, in which everybody besides Zach Martin has been injured.
Yeah.
If you look at their starting offensive line, I believe they're missing 4 of their 5 initial starters. Now, that does matter because Arizona's missing their best pass rusher in Chandler Jones, who's out for the year, which is pretty unfortunate because I think Jones is a tremendous future Hall of Fame defensive player. So you have to wonder, what's going to give there. The question I still have with the Cowboys is, can they stop anything defensively? And the answer is no. So I'm going to lean to Arizona. You give me Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, even Fitz, who's older, but the ground game, I'm not a big Kenyon Drake guy. I do think Chase Edmonds is really good, though. I think that should give him more touches moving forward. At the end of the day, I think there's going to be a decent amount of points, but push comes to shove, I'm going to fade the Cowboys defense that just gave up 31 points to the Giants. I know you had a pick 6 in there or whatever, but I mean, the Giants they couldn't score against Washington. You gave up 24 points to the Giants. I think the Cardinals with Kingsbury are gonna work some offensive magic and score probably around 30 plus. So for me, I'll lean to Arizona.
All right, yeah, that's certainly.
Did I forget anything, or does that pretty much sum it all up?
No, being without Tyron Smith is huge for Dallas here on the offensive line. The one that doesn't.
Tyron Smith, La'el Collins. La'el Collins is a top tier guard in the league, and he's out.
Joe Looney, their center's out.
They're missing him. They're missing Irving as well. They're missing a ton of people. The only person you got left is Zach Martin. That's it. Yeah, so the offensive line, which was known as being a staple of the Cowboys for the last couple of years, as one of the best in the league, it's not. It's average at best right now, and now you have a more immobile quarterback and Andy Dalton in comparison to Dak. I think it's a problem. And even though Arizona's defense is, I'd say, average.
Struggles to be average, yeah.
Yeah, especially now that Chandler Jones is out. The secondary is still not that bad with Peterson and Budda Baker back there, who I do think are very good. Isaiah Simmons has not worked at all when they drafted him, and it's weird because they don't really use him at all, which I find kind of fascinating. But I think Arizona's defense is better than Dallas's defense, and I think Arizona's offense is better than Dallas's offense with Andy Dalton at quarterback. So for me, I'm going to lean to Arizona because I think that they're the better overall team.
I'm with you. I think the Cardinals come in and get a big victory here. That Cowboys defense, they're certainly banged up, especially at the linebacker core as well.
Well, the linebacking core is a disaster. Jalen Smith is very good. Van Der Esch hasn't played all year, and he's very good. They're missing
Sean Lee. They're missing Van Der Esch.
Sean Lee also, yeah.
And now they're down to Wizier. So,
in the second, yeah, it's a disaster. I don't know what area the Cowboys are actually good at besides maybe pass rush, and it's been one guy.
Yeah,
Alden Smith. Like Everson Griffin's done nothing.
Demarcus
Lawrence hasn't done anything. It's pretty much Alden Smith or nothing. And the secondary is a disaster. The linebacking core is a disaster. I don't know what this team is really good at besides having a ton of wide receivers who can't play any defense to help out. So, yeah, they score 30-something points per game, but they give up 40. I don't know how I'm supposed to look at this team and go, oh, they're going to stop a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray with no linebackers and no pass rush.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to go really well. No.
Agreed. I've got a premium on the total here on this one as well.
For the total, I'm personally going to lean to the over. I know it's at 55 as well, and the Cowboys might run the ball a little bit more. Any game the Cowboys play, they're at liberty to give up 30-plus. So I can't really lean to the under. It's in a dome, so the weather's not going to play a factor. And I just think Kyler is going to have a really, really good day. Plus, he can extend plays in the pocket because he can run around like crazy. The Cowboys always struggle with mobile quarterbacks, and I think that the Cardinals should go for 30-plus. So for that reason, I'll lean to the over there, but it remains to be seen.
All right. The fact that Kyler Murray seems to be making a lot of stupid mistakes this year.
He does. But the Cowboys' defense is so bad that he should have wide-open receivers pretty much all night.
All right. Very good. All right, guys. There's our takes on the two football games here today. Enjoy.
We're going to have less videos than normal this week because, we got less sports to cover. So
we'll be covering the World Series on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll be back to college football along with the World Series on Thursday, Friday,
and the NFL. You excited? We got Eagles-Giants Thursday night.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm living the dream there, buddy.
Yep.
I don't know about either one of those teams. I know about the Giants.
I actually don't think the Eagles are terrible. I think the Eagles aren't good, but you hang tough with the Steelers and the Ravens, I'll give you a pass. Plus, they also have a ton of injuries, which isn't going to help, but it's just – you don't think that even though they lost, the fact that they almost came back from 20-something down to Baltimore shows some form of resiliency? I think it shows something.
I don't know what it shows.
They're not good, but nobody in the division's good. So the Eagles are actually, hung tough with some pretty good teams in the AFC, which I think
they saw it last year when they, snuck into the playoffs. Again, they're
they're just going to try to do whatever they can to watch the Cowboys trip over themselves, and they'll win enough games to win the division.
You don't have to be faster than the Bears, Scott. You just got to be faster than the Cowboys.
Yep, something like that.
All right, kids, that's it for today. Hopefully, you guys have some good bets cooked up. We'd like to know what you're playing, man. I mean, there's a lot of prop action, of course. Scott and I talked about a couple of prop bets that we have for tonight, and we'd be interested to see what else you guys are playing. So drop in the comment section, let us know. And yeah, for myself, for Scott Reichel, and of course, I almost forgot, Scott, the deepest dive anywhere on the internet about this game tonight, about the Monday Night Football and the Thursday Night Football games. Where do you find those?
winnersandwhiners.com.
Yeah, that's right. It is. I encourage you to go over there and check it out, just because if you've never seen it, it is an incredible piece of writing, and the amount of work and effort that goes into that every single week is impressive to me. As they break down every matchup, the offense versus defense, they switch it, special teams, coaching, weather, whatever. It's all there. winnersandwhiners.com. Do yourself a favor, check that out. If you're not checking out winnersandwhiners.com, especially for Monday and Thursday games, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're handicapping games with one hand tied behind your back. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you stopping by each and every day to check out Today in Sports Betting. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.